Good evening, baseball fans. It is Sunday, May 14th. It is Mother's Day. When you guys actually listen to this, it will not be Mother's Day anymore. So hopefully you treated your mothers, significant others, well, and you didn't F it up. So I didn't give the warning yet, so I can't say the actual F word. So I'm Suzy. If you're new here, you will not know that, it's not supposed to be Tom over there, but that's Tom. Normally it's Suzy and Shelby, but unfortunately Shelby had to step away, and she's no longer with us. I say that she's not dead. Okay, that sounded like she's dead. She's not dead, guys. She's not dead. She's still here, but she's just not here on the podcast anymore. She had to step away for time constraints. I don't know why. It's not like we do 43 different shows and like talk about baseball all the freaking time, but unfortunately she had to step away. So I am currently figuring out who my new co-host will be. But right now we got Tom because Tom's awesome and he's pinch hitting for Shelby right now. And if you like Tom, the PG-13 version of Tom is on the Astros Baseball podcast. Okay, you get the rated R the version of Tom over here.
Uncut.
Yes. And with that I will give you the actual warning, because if you are new around here, you may find yourself a little shocked. So this is a rated R podcast. Hide your kids, hide your wife, don't hide your wife. Show her this if she doesn't mind the use of expletives and inappropriate adult humor and sexual innuendos, because inside I have the mentality of a 12-year-old boy, and really when we talk about like balls and rubbing and needing 3 extra inches, it's all funny to me, and it is who I am as a person. So if you don't mind the F word, stay a while. If you do mind the F word, maybe earmuffs for the kids. I don't know, I'm not going to judge you if you don't, though. And with that, we will get into it. Tom, did you get to watch all of the baseballs this week?
I watched a lot.
A lot of baseball.
We definitely watched the Astros get the series win today. That was good stuff. I saw some of the Cardinals and Red Sox game because it was the primetime ESPN show. I watched some of the Yankees Rays series this weekend, which pretty interesting. I mean, the Yankees came in kind of reeling a little bit. Tampa Bay, this juggernaut. The Yankees didn't fare that bad. Let's see, what else did I see? I mean, I got my fix. I got my fix this weekend.
Yeah. I watched a lot of baseball. There was the Giants D-backs. D-backs walked it off today. 2-1 with a Lourdes Gurriel single, and drove in Christian Walker. We're going to talk about an ump show. But first we're going to talk about the Cardinals and how Lars Nootbar made me cry. Because as I said, it was Mother's Day, y'all. And apparently Lars Nootbar loves his mom. His mom is his best friend. And Eduardo Perez was doing an interview with Lars and showing, like a little slideshow of like him and his mom, like growing up and all that fun stuff. And then all of a sudden, like his mom actually pops up and like the video is so sweet. And she's like, "Hi, Lars." And she's waving. And he's like, "Wait, is that live? Is that?" And and then he starts to tear up. And I love when, like, I say grown ass men. He's still a young man.
Don't tell him that. He'll tell you he's a grown ass man.
I mean, how old is Lars Nootbar? Like 24? He's a baby. He's a baby.
He's a baby to us.
Well, I can't help it that I'm old now, and baseball players.
Lars Nootbar is 25 years, 248 days old from El Segundo, California.
Yeah, and with that name like Lars Nootbar, you're not expecting him to be half Japanese, but he is. He is half Japanese. And so anyhow, super cute video. He starts tearing up. Eduardo Perez is kind of laughing, and his mom just throws him right underneath the bus, and she's like, "He's a crier. He cries a lot." And I was like, "Damn, mom from the top rope." But it was super sweet because Lars Nootbar, if you guys watch any of the World Baseball Classic, he was kind of a spark plug for Team Japan. Like I don't know if they used him, not used him, but like kind of viewed him as like a mascot really, or something, like, and that sounds kind of bad, but but he's over there giving like pep talks and like game day speeches and stuff, and Ipe Shohei Otani's translator is like translating for him and stuff, and they got the pepper grinder going, and go quite honestly, like I get it. I get it. Like you're grinding at bats. I understand. But Lars, I know that at some point you did the pepper grinder, and you had to have seen the motion in which you were doing the pepper grinder. And every time they did the pepper grinder in the dugout, I couldn't help but laugh and just giggle at all of the inappropriateness that was going on in my head, and what the pepper grinder signified not grinding at bats out. Okay. I will leave you with that reference. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go Google any sort of pepper. Don't Google pepper grinder. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just maybe Team Japan celebration. Maybe Google that and see. But do not Google what does pepper grinder hand motion mean. Don't do that. All right. Don't do that. If you do that, I'm warning you.
I'm not responsible for
I'm not responsible for what comes up on your screen, what sort of virus you get. Like, I'm not responsible for it. Okay, there's your warning. But anyways, so, but staying with the Cardinals. Last week we talked about Wilson Contreras and the whole catching debacle, and I'm not quite sure in an entire week what changed,
Well,
but
real quick,
apparently,
before you run away from Lars Nootbar,
yes,
no one benefited more from the WBC socially than him. He
that
went
is
from
true.
60K on Instagram to 609,000. I believe he climbed over 1 million, but like that was like the first like big, like they got a hold of him and that was their guy.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to talk about increasing your social presence? Lars did that.
Yes, he did. And I was listening to an interview they did. Was it the Barbacast Boys? Maybe, I think maybe it was that podcast. He was talking about um Japan, and how much basically the Japanese people just kind of enveloped him and whatnot. And he was telling him, if you need just like a knockoff Shohei, just like for any sort of ads or anything, that's me. I'll do it. Like hemorrhoid cream, like Shohei don't want it. I'll take it. I'll do it. And it's like, you know what? Make your bag. Get your bag, Lars. Get your bag. Like strike while the iron is hot. And he's a good-looking kid. He's a good-looking kid, and so like, do it, Lars, all of it. So, but like I said, moving on from Lars and going on to the catcher that they signed in the offseason, Wilson Contreras. If you guys don't remember, basically the Cardinals they won a couple more games. They won a couple more games this week. So I want to say that they, however, are still last in their division in the NL Central. They still are last. Not as bad as they were though. 16-25 is their record. Still one game under Washington. So they are actually dead last in the NL, which I don't think has happened in a long, long time.
But closer to the lead in the division than the New York Yankees are.
I like that you threw that in. I appreciate that. I appreciate that about you, Tom. So yeah, their record is 16-25. They're 7.5 games back of the leader of the NL Central, which is the Milwaukee Brewers at 23-17. So, but their reasoning behind doing so poorly was Yadier Molina retired, rode off into the sunset with Albert Pujols, and apparently took all of their pitching capability with him. That's supposedly. I don't really know. That's kind of how they framed it. Front office basically told Wilson Contreras, "You are going to no longer catch. You are going to DH instead." And then came out and said, "Oh, just kidding. You're not going to play the outfield. You were just going to DH," which kind of made a logjam in the lineup because they have a plethora of outfielders out there, which they had been using the DH spot for. Now Wilson Contreras is going to DH, and basically just took away the catching responsibilities and gave it to the backup catcher, Andrew Kisner, citing that Andrew Kisner had worked with the pitchers were more comfortable pitching to him. At that point in time, I don't even know. When we recorded last week, that was as much information as kind of I had gathered, I had heard about. Over the last week, I've listened to like 43 different podcasts about the situation. And for our Astros fans, basically, they viewed Yadier Molina as the pitcher whisperer. He commanded the pitching staff. He knew all of the things, and basically the pitchers didn't have to do any of their own scouting or anything like that. And apparently Wilson Contreras did not do that. It came out that one of the pitchers, in not so many words, basically said that Wilson Contreras was lazy. Again, not in so many words, but basically said that, he wasn't doing it the Cardinal way. And apparently that same that same pitcher, in a week, I guess, said that they sat down and worked it out, and now they're working together better. I'm like, what now? So you mean to tell me that you couldn't get this all worked out from the beginning of the season? Like, Wilson Contreras skipped the WBC so that he could get a handle on the pitching staff. So you mean to tell me from like the beginning of the season till now he couldn't get a handle on it, but in a week y'all figured it out? I don't think so. I think the front office basically looked at the situation and told the pitching staff, you know what? Fuck y'all. Pitch better. Figure your own shit out. Do your own work. Quit blaming it on Wilson Contreras. Now, in this last week, they've won some games and they've lost some games. So we can't point to Andrew Kisner, that Andrew Kisner was like the savior. Okay, I guess we all knew that Andrew Kisner was not going to be the savior, because if he was, why wasn't he signed to begin with? But yeah, so that whole thing is just cracking me up, that they viewed Yachty as the pitcher whisperer. They knew that Wilson Contreras wasn't going to be that. They signed him for his bat, but then I guess demoted him because he wasn't Yachty and he wasn't doing the things that Yachty had done. I don't know. It's a whole thing. So Cardinals, what are we doing? Like, be better. Like, let the catcher catch. And front office says, yes, let's do that.
The crazy thing for me is that they thought so much to bring Yachty in to consult on it, and he actually met with Wilson Contreras. And I would have thought if you were going to go to those depths, you'd have probably had him working with him the entire spring training. You'd have been grooming him and teaching him the vernacular and, okay, this is what this guy likes to do and so on and so forth. You can't tell me that, because I guess Kisner was there for however long he was.
4 seasons, I think.
But I mean, doing what? He wasn't catching. Yachty caught like every game. Yachty was constantly back there. So it just seems
learning from Yachty. Tom, don't you understand? Like, sitting on the bench at points in time is like, you just soak up knowledge, If you didn't catch my sarcasm tone, that's my sarcasm tone, guys. I don't believe that with where the fucking shit. So yeah. I mean, at what point do you just put Yachty on the fucking payroll and be like, Yachty, like, come on now? Is he just waiting for a bigger payday? Like, is he waiting for them to just really, really plummet and then be like, okay, let's do this. Let's go.
Judging by the WBC, I feel like Yachty's angling for a manager job. He managed the WBC for Team Puerto Rico, and I think that is something that he wants to do long term.
Do you think he's angling for Ollie Marmol's job? Maybe.
Could be. I mean, if that team keeps struggling, how long before you start to point the finger at the manager?
That's true. So so this is what I never really kind of understood. Ollie Marmol is young. It's real young, like 36. Adam Wainwright is 40. How do you...
Can't tell him shit.
Mm-mm.
No way Wayno's listening to this kid going, yeah, okay, coach. Nah. They probably don't even have conversations that are productive. Like, hey, yeah, okay, so you're gonna pitch? Okay, cool, thanks. That's
Yeah,
it.
I listened to an interview that Wayno did talking about this whole situation. And he's like, "Yeah, we just sat down with Wilson and we just think, in the future that he's going to catch some really big innings for us." And I'm all in the future, Adam Wainwright, like what future are we talking about? Because if you keep losing games, there ain't going to be a future, sir. So just the way that he was talking about like Wilson Contreras, he's like, "Yeah," he's like, "We just sat down and we just enveloped him." I'm like, maybe you should have sat down before you blindsided him and told him that he wasn't your catcher. Like, did that even happen? Like, I don't think it did. I think at some one time, like Wilson Contreras heard on Twitter that he was not catching anymore. Like, what the fuck? So, um, yes, like I feel like there needs to be some sort of like happy medium with managers because you can't be too young like Ollie Marmol, but you can't be too old, aka Tony La Russa and Dusty Baker. I mean, I didn't mean to put those two in the same. Yes, I did.
Yes, you
Totally did.
did. Yes,
I
you
did.
did.
I did. Yeah. But I mean, there's something to be said about like Buck Showalter for the Mets, who apparently Mets fans they are on the same train as Astros. Well, some of Astros fans and Dusty Baker. Why are you pointing at me? Why, sir? Like you are closer to my side than you are on the other side of this.
I mean, I'm just not full on fuck
I
that
said
guy.
I said closer, and I never said fuck that guy. I
You
said
wanted
that
to put him.
I wanted to strap him to a rocket and send him to the moon. That is a clear difference
I was
than
gonna
fuck that guy.
tease back to that Astros up. Like, y'all need to go see what she said about Dusty Baker
Okay, like
and potentially putting the manager of the Houston Astros in the NASA program.
I'm just saying, like I don't even think he'd make it to the rocket. Okay, like I don't even think he knows what a rocket is at this point. All right, like there is no farmer's almanac that points to what a rocket is. Okay, anyways, but there's something to be said about like the old school quote unquote managers versus I don't know, I guess like the new school of managers like Gabe Kapler and Ollie Marmol. But there's been some issues with Ollie Marmol as well, and like throwing Tyler O'Neill under the bus, like so there's just it's just a whole thing over there, and I don't know what Cardinals fans are thinking. So if you're a Cardinals fan, hit us up in the comments and like let me know if I'm like super off base or like what are your thoughts. Um, and I was also listening because apparently Cardinals have always been relatively good, right? Like not ever like super super good, but like not ever super super bad. They've just always been like in contention. Am I correct in that? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I consider them a blue blood of baseball. Like they've always been a good team. They've always been challenging for a division. They've won World Series. I mean, if you go way way back, they were super super good. So, oh
Okay.
yeah,
So this is the first time they've been bad,
in a
right?
long time,
In a long time. Okay. So
like
but
pre Pujols, long time.
here's the thing though. If you are a Cardinals fan, you cannot legitimately have told me that you looked at your roster and you looked at your pitching rotation and you were comfortable. Like you couldn't have. There's no way. You could look at your position players and say, "Oh yeah, no, we are going to bang." Like mashers. We could see that, right? But there's no way that you could look at your pitching rotation and be like, yes, yes, give me 90-year-old Adam Wainwright. Yes. Give me, like Jack Flaherty, Steven Matz, Miles
They
Michaelis.
they walked down the Milwaukee. I'm struggling right now.
Brewers?
Thank you. They walked them down last year with the same rotation.
Yeah. Like, so the only one that was kind of decent, that who had been doing decently, was Jordan Montgomery, who wasn't really with them the entire season last year, who, got traded over from the Yankees. And I wonder how much of that carried over because he's like, your catcher did what for you? Nah, dude, I'm used to doing my own like scouting reports and like I'm used to knowing, like what the guys are, can hit and can't hit and all that stuff. Like, wait, your catcher did that shit for you? What? So I don't
Have y'all
know how much
seen
of that,
Gary Sanchez?
right? Well, but I think at that time was Jose Trevino still the starting catcher though?
I think he
I want to
got
say he
that
was.
like last year full on, and then like some the year before. But I mean,
Okay.
there was like a
It was.
Higashioka was there. They had a bunch of different guys.
Yeah. Well, so, so I don't know how much that plays into him doing better than, your average bear. Uh but yeah. Anyways, um so
Oh, and for
that's the
anybody
Cardinals.
watching on the YouTube, this 4-6s. I know I kind of turned the glass a little bit, so it looks like 666. Say,
I didn't even think that those were sixes. I thought those were fish hooks.
oh wow, okay.
Are they why is it 4 6s?
It's a spinoff of the Yellowstone show.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it's an actual ranch in Texas.
Hmm.
I just wanted to, because I saw myself going, it looks like I got 666 on my cup. I should
Yeah,
tell
no,
someone.
it looks like fish hooks. I thought it was like some sort of like fishing company or something. I was like, all right,
Ah,
whatever. I mean,
sorry to throw you off though.
you got a fucking T-bone on your baseball hat at some point. Like, you got weird shit, Tom. Like, I don't know.
Little bit.
Um, moving on from the Cardinals, we're gonna stay in the NL for just a little bit longer, okay? Because I know that typically most of the people that listen are more familiar with the ALs, and that's what we're here for. We're here to help you expand your knowledge of all of the other teams if you don't have time to watch all the other teams. I don't have time to watch all the other teams, but yet I somehow managed to do it because I'm obsessed. Anyhow, the Rockies and the Phillies. Apparently the Rockies and the Phillies are now some sort of rival. I don't know why or how, but that turned into a thing. Because yesterday the Nick Castellanos hit a line drive back up to the pitcher, and it basically hit, I want to say Feltner. I think it was Feltner, straight in the temple. Like, just it was bad. It was real bad, and you could just tell Nick Castellanos felt horrible about it. And there's no contempt behind that. Like, there's no, like, he's not angling for a hit against the pitch. Like, it just, he felt real bad. I'm not quite sure who the pitcher was for today. Like, I have to see this. But it got heated between the Rockies and the Phillies. At no point in time did I ever think that I was going to talk about the Phillies and the Rockies. I'm just gonna be really fucking honest, okay? But it was Aaron Nola, and the score was 4-0, Rockies. So they put, let's see here. Let's see if I can find the
Kyle Freeland.
Was it Kyle Freeland?
He started for the Rockies.
Okay. I don't know at what point.
But then Jake Bird came in, and then Justin Lawrence
Jake
came in
Bird.
after.
It was Jake Bird. Jake Bird apparently, after striking out Bryce Harper, talked some shit. Was chirping at Bryce Harper, chirping at the dugout, and Bryce Harper took offense. And Bryce Harper gave no fucks about his surgically repaired arm. No fucks. He came at Jake Bird, and what really cracked me up is, like, when I watched the video, Jake Bird is like walking off, and Bryce Harper is coming after him, and the catcher for the Rockies is like trying to get in between, and like holding Bryce Harper back and stuff. And Jake Bird's like over here just like motioning, like putting his arms up, like what? At no point in time did Jake Bird make a motion to go towards the fight until there was like many people in between him and Bryce Harper. And at that point, then he's like, "Oh yeah, like hold me back." Jake Bird, like, stop it. Just fucking stop. Like, if you were gonna like really truly wanted to fucking throw down, you would have fucking ran and gave no fucks. No, Jake Bird, I have nothing for you. Like, and surgically repaired arm or not, there is no way in hell I would fuck with Bryce Harper. Just none. That man has a little crazy in him, right? Like,
His
just a
face
little.
screams, fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
Screams it. I want the smoke. Somebody come see me, please. Please. I don't really even play baseball. They just made me do it. I'd rather just fight you. That's what it looks
Right.
like. When I see Bryce Harper, that's what I see.
Yes. Yes, like in no shape, way, form. No, like Bryce Harper is going to kick somebody's ass, like somebody's ass, um, and then you can tell in like the video afterwards that he basically was just like, "Fuck all this. Nope, just loser organization. Call the Rockies a loser organization," and he's not wrong. He's not wrong. When your owner basically comes out and says that he's fine with like a 500 record, what are we doing here, right? But like, what are you doing, Rockies? Like, the you are tied for second to last place in your division. Are they tied with the with
No, they're a half game worse than San Francisco.
Okay, so you know it's one of these where you're like, why are you talking shit? You hadn't had command. I mean, I guess because you struck out Bryce Harper, like you feel like a tough guy. I don't know. But I mean, benches cleared, bullpens came in, the whole bit, and I'm like, bro, I want to see Bryce Harper throw some fisticuffs, like just. But the broadcast was like, his arm. I was like, yeah, but
It's an
Bryce Harper
expensive
gave no fuck.
elbow.
So
I
yeah,
don't think you want to risk that.
how early did he come back?
Well, see,
Ridiculously early.
So I mean, it was sort of, but like it's Tommy John. Like he had the same elbow thing that a
Yeah.
pitcher would have. So to hit, he didn't need it. He could DH and it wouldn't matter.
Right.
It's throwing a baseball from center field where
Outfield,
it's like, yeah.
But he had to take in reps at first, but at this point in time, he's only DHing. So, it's still crazy that he came back from Tommy John like that's super early. But I guess he's the Winter Soldier. Is that the meme that I saw comparing Bryce Harper to the Winter Soldier?
I dig it.
But yeah, so the Colorado Rockies are 9 games back of the LA Dodgers, that lead the West, and in second place, Arizona Diamondbacks still hanging on. Did you know that Lourdes Gurriel got his citizenship?
I did. And his team like rallied around him. Like one of the post game interviews, the guy was wearing the, American, flag glasses or whatever symbolizing. I think it's really cool. It's not something you hear a lot that happens with, Cuban players. So
Yeah.
Congrats to him for getting it squared away.
I love it. I was like, good for you, Lourdes. Look at you. I was very excited. And who was I talking to? I was talking to someone and they were like, for which country? And I'm all, United States? And they're like, well, but he played for Canada. And I was like, well, yeah, but I'm pretty sure he lives in Miami though, doesn't he? Like, doesn't the whole Gurriel clan live in Miami? And they're like, I don't know. I was like, no, I'm pretty sure he got citizenship for the United States. Like, I don't think Canada's, I don't think that's not it. United States. But his hair is purple and I love it. And I love that the Diamondbacks are a team that is giving the Dodgers some chase. And apparently everyone's trying to make San Diego and the Dodgers a rivalry, and it's not going well. It's not going well for the California people. Like, they're not making that a rivalry. They're like, stop it. It's never going to be a thing. It's the Giants. And I'm like, who's having a rivalry with the Giants? The Giants aren't good right now, but apparently the Giants were good last year. But like, is it San Francisco and San Diego that they're trying to, that is the rivalry?
No. It's everybody in the Dodgers, right? The battle for LA, that kind of thing. San Francisco has historically been the team that has always given the Dodgers fits.
Gotcha. Okay.
Where now San Diego is spending the money, and you want to talk about a team that's probably stressing the panic button. You spent all this money for Xander Bogaerts. You spent all this money to keep Machado. You still got to pay Soto. The pitching staff is a fortune. They've spent all this money, and they're 7 games back, and they're 3 games under 500.
How is that a thing? Is it the bullpen? I think it's the bullpen, isn't it?
I mean, their closer's Josh Hader.
Yeah, but Josh Hader has not been the Josh Hader of old.
He is not, but he's still, reputable. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I don't know. Their run
Okay.
differential is -10.
Wow.
They're 11-15 against teams over 500. They're 9-11 away from home and 10-11 at home. They're just not good.
Damn.
They've
Yeah,
lost 5 in a row.
I've not been watching Padres games. Apparently they got shut out today by the Dodgers, yeah? Did the Dodgers sweep them?
I think so. Let
Don't
me look
remember.
that up.
Was it this series or was it the last series where the Padres won one? So maybe it wasn't this series. Maybe it was the last series that they played. They won one against Clayton Kershaw, and they put up a crying Clayton Kershaw meme. Did you see that
And
on the
then they
scoreboard?
haven't won since or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that's some petty shit, man. Like, I'm not saying that it's like, like the players. Obviously it's like I don't even think it's a social media team. Like, I don't know who's in charge of the scoreboard or like who would even do that. But it was a whole thing. It was like a literal crying Clayton Kershaw after the San Diego Padres won. But yeah,
So
so
Minnesota beat them for 2, and then the Dodgers did sweep them. So that's how they've lost 5 in a row.
So the Dodgers swept him and the Brewers swept him. Damn.
No, Minnesota. The Twins got them for 2
Oh,
games.
the Twins. I'm sorry. Apparently, I only heard the M and just went National League. Apparently, so that's wow. All right then. But that murderer's row up front though. But I guess Juan Soto has been better because he hadn't been hitting, but now he's better. Fernando Tatis Jr. I think had multiple home run game. Was it the Dodger series or was it the Twin series? One of those series he had multiple home runs. Xander Bogaerts has been Xander Bogaerts. So I don't know. Maybe it's the bottom of the lineup. If you're a San Diego Padres fan, let me know in the comments, please. At me on Twitter. I would love to have a discussion with San Diego Padres and how you guys feel, and if you are pressing the panic button yet. So yeah, the West is the Dodgers 26-15, the Diamondbacks 23-18, San Diego 19-22, the Giants 17-23, and the Rockies at 17-24. The Diamondbacks walked off the Giants tonight. I watched that game, and Lourdes with his purple hair walked it off, and it was amazing, and I loved it so much. In the Central, Milwaukee Brewers. Have you seen Christian Yelich? Is Christian Yelich back?
Maybe. There's no reason he shouldn't be good. Like, he screams. It's kind of like, when Belly and Yelly were a thing, the way both of those guys fell off, and now you're seeing both of them kind of resurface. Physically, they should be talented
Better?
baseball players.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just for whatever reason, pressure burst pipes.
Okay. So, yeah, Milwaukee leads the National League Central with 23-17. Pittsburgh Pirates 22-19. They're 1.5 games back. However, they did lose like 10 straight until they won these last 2 games against the Orioles, I want to say. So, their last 10 games are like 2-8. But, who had the Pittsburgh Pirates being second in the Central? Not me. The Cubs 19-21. The Astros face them. They come into town this week. So they're 4 games back. Cincinnati is 18-22. And then the St. Louis Cardinals coming up with the rear at 16-25. National League, the Braves. The Braves have lost 2 of their starting pitchers now. Max Fried is on the shelf. And
2 months, right? I think they said.
Yeah. Basically, it's like a forearm strain, and I'm like, that just screams like the tendon is hanging on by like a tiny, tiny thread.
And I figured out what's wrong with San Diego.
Tell me.
They have a player on their team that is guaranteed to sabotage everything. Rougned Odor.
He just hit his first home run the other night. I saw that.
Every team. Yeah, I don't know what it is. He K's everywhere. Maybe I don't like him because he was a Ranger for so long, but he hasn't won something since he hit Bautista in the face.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, that's so again, Padres fans. If that theory is correct, let me know. At Tom
Looking
as well.
looking at their roster, it's one of those all or nothing teams, right? Nelly Cruz, Matt
Hmm.
Carpenter, Rougned Odor, like it's like you got the top four, like you talked about,
Yeah.
Murderers Row, and then
It
bleh,
just
you
falls
know,
off.
Austin Nola, I think is probably where it stops, and then it just your
Hassan Kim has
your
been
boy.
decent,
I was gonna say your boy Hassan Kim, but like
but after that, it just it's fair to middling.
it's a cliff.
Middling to poor. I don't know. Like, I don't know what to say about that. Um, yeah, okay. I know I wanna say, like, Brent Honeywell, one of their, relief pitchers, shit the bed the other night. Just couldn't get out of the inning and basically just got BABIP to death. Um, and then I think Josh Hader's blown a couple of saves. I can't remember, though. But yeah, so the Braves, though, have lost a couple of pitchers, but then they've just brought up their arms. Um, so it's Max Fried and then Kyle Wright. Kyle Wright's the other one. Um, so they still have Spencer Strider, but they just got swept. Who did they just get swept by? Uh, why am I blanking on that?
The Braves.
The Braves, I want to say, just got swept, didn't they? Am I wrong in that?
Let me see.
Um,
The Blue Jays.
yes, the Blue Jays. There we go. Yeah, they just got swept. And the game that Spencer Strider pitched was heartbreaking because I want to say that he pitched pretty well, struck out 12, and then like the bullpen I guess shit the bed. I don't know. But how do you strike out 12 and then just not win a game?
The Blue Jays won 3-0. They scored a run in the fifth, the seventh, and the eighth. And the Braves only mustered 2 hits. That's
Oh
how you lose
man.
a Spencer Strider start where he strikes out 12.
Damn. Tom with the facts. We appreciate you, Tom. That's why we pay you the big bucks, sir. So yeah, that's Atlanta. Like do where I was gonna say, like, who comes out of the NL? But I'm pretty sure it's gonna be Atlanta.
Oh
Like, I
yeah,
just
I
don't
mean
think
they got swept and they're still like 9, 10.
25 and
Yes,
25 and 15. Yeah.
10 games over 500. They'll be all
Mhm.
right.
Philly is finally at 500, 20 and 20. Miami 20 and 21, tied with the New York Mets 2021. You want to talk about a fan base that's ready to hit a panic button? Like all of the Mets fans are just panic button. Here it is, and they're just hammering away at that thing. Like
But this
they're
is
not
what
happy.
people thought. People thought outside of the Mets fan base that you better pray that Scherzer stays healthy, which he hasn't. You
Nope.
better pray that Verlander stays healthy, which he hasn't. You better pray that Kodai Senga is the real deal, which he hasn't really been,
Mm-mm.
because the rest of it, their offense is good, not great, good. And their bullpen, they lost their closer.
Yep, they lost their closer. Cookie Carrasco's been on the shelf that they paid. Kodai Senga has been iffy. Verlander just made his first start. They got swept by the Nats
That's
last time.
crazy.
Now, so there is panic in the streets. Panic in the streets with Mets. There was a doubleheader with the Nats for this series, and I want to say they blew the last game out 8-2, but the first game of that doubleheader they lost 2-3. Was it the Nats or or am I thinking of the Reds? Now I have to look that up. Hold on. Hold on here.
But
Nope,
yeah,
nope, I
Jose
am thinking of the
Quintana,
Mets.
another pitcher on the shelf. Like,
Yeah. So the first game they lost 2-3 of the doubleheader that was supposed to be played Friday night. They didn't call that game for 4 hours, Tom. They played for like 45 minutes maybe and then put the tarp on the wet field. and
Oof.
didn't call the game for 4 hours. And then said this game will be made up in a split admission doubleheader tomorrow. And I'm sorry. If I waited around for 4 fucking hours for you to tell me that there is a split admission doubleheader tomorrow, I'll be so angry. Like, no, you're gonna give me that second game for free because I waited around for 4. Like that's just. I realized that would never actually happen, but like that's just asinine.
The
Why would
Mets
you not
didn't get
call it for 4 hours?
makes no sense. The Mets didn't get swept. They lost 2 out of 3
Okay.
to the
But this series,
Nationals. Yes.
though, I want to say they played them like last week and got swept. I'm almost
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. I
almost
believe you're
positive.
right.
Okay, but yeah, so they it
And
was
and
not.
they lost 2 out of 3 to the Reds as well.
Yeah,
Tough times.
it's so they're losing to the people they're supposed to win against, and they're like Mets fans are just in a whole funk. They also want to let the kids play. They also want to let the kids play, and they brought him up. Brett Beatty has come up, their third baseman, and has done really well. Their Alvarez, Francisco Alvarez, backup catcher, has kind of moved into that starting catcher role and has done not super well, but amenable, right? I mean, they weren't going to really like. They didn't really bring him up for his like quote unquote catching abilities because the boy can freaking rake. So, but you know, the guys that are supposed to hit, not hitting. I feel like the Mets and the Astros fan base are very on par with one another and how they feel about their various players. I saw one tweet today that said, "Thank God we finally scored with runners in scoring position. I thought it was a myth." And it made me laugh because I'm like, I can relate to that so much because they also have a favorite hobby of leaving men on base. Um,
Real
but
quick
yeah.
on your boy Alvarez. He's
Mhm.
21 in 69 plate appearances. He's batting 217 with 3 homers and 6 RBIs.
Yeah. But and I mean he's 21. Like that's crazy.
It's fast
That's
track.
insane. Yeah, that's insane. So yeah, and then Washington, 17 and 23. So National League is a whole thing over there. So really it's gonna be the Braves and the Dodgers, but I don't know. Again, the Dodgers won 90,000 games last season and didn't make it to the playoffs. So
Philly got hot at the right time.
yeah, baseball is a weird sport. So let's move on to the AL, where the Tampa Bay Rays finally have double-digit loss. They finally have lost. Their record is 31-11. That is an insane record. That's an insane 31-11. What is happening here? Like that's insane.
They pitch and hit now.
They pitch and they hit and they're getting production from every member of that lineup. I know this because I follow the Rays. Like they're an AL team that we know always has this kind of you never can count out the Rays team, right? But apparently last week, a New York radio station flat out accused the Rays of cheating. Flat out
I've
accused the
never
Rays of
heard of a
cheating.
New York anything accuse anyone of cheating ever
Right.
before. I cannot believe they would do such a thing. That doesn't make any sense. Those guys don't believe that anybody cheats. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, there's no way.
Yeah. And the guy was like, "I'm not even a Yankee fan. Like, but something's going on there. Like, you can either believe us now or believe us when the Athletic tells you." And I'm all, how, the sir, that's some accusations there. Like
Bold.
that's like you just gonna throw that out. And then the one guy's like, I'm just saying. So the other guy goes, "Oh, so they're cheating." And he goes, I didn't say that. I mean, but you said that. Like you said that they so I'm just putting it out there. Just put and they're like, "Who's Christian Bethencourt? How are they, and I'm all, how do you not know who Christian Bethencourt? I mean, like I kind of understand why you don't understand who Christian Bethencourt is, because he came from the A's, but like come on now. Come on now. However, when Taylor Walls hits a grand slam, you're like, Taylor Walls? And monocle side eye emoji. Okay. Look at you, Taylor Walls. Like, on the day before when Yandy Diaz hit a grand slam, you're like, all right, Yandy Diaz. Like, I expected it from Yandy Diaz because Yandy Diaz looks like a motherfucker who could hit a grand slam. Taylor Walls, however, you're all, apparently you work out, sir. Like, they didn't close the roof for that one. That's why that grand slam happened.
Put it in the jet stream and just let it carry it, huh?
Yeah. But boppers. I mean, that score was 8-7 today, and I want to say it was 8-7 yesterday.
So they lost the series with the Yankees. That was a slugfest, right?
Yeah.
Lost the series. What would you think the run differential is for the Tampa Bay Rays right now?
43. I don't know.
Try multiplying that by like 3.
It's not a math pod. It's not a math pod.
Okay. The run differential for the Tampa Bay Rays after just losing a series that was a slugfest in which they gave up a ton of runs is still plus 120.
Oh my
They've
God.
scored 260 runs and they've only given up 140. It's just dumb. They've always been a good pitching team, but now they're scoring. They've scored 60 more runs than the next team. Well, I take that back. Than the next team in their division. The Rangers are scoring a ton of runs too.
Yeah. Yeah. That's insane. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, good on you, Rays. Good on you. Like if it's not us, go Rays. Like I will always root for the Rays. Always. So Rays are third. AL East is a wagon. I will say it. AL East is a wagon. I didn't think AL East was a wagon before, but now it's a wagon. So the Tampa Bay Rays at 31-11 with a 738 win percentage. The Baltimore Orioles at 26-14, 4 games back. Toronto Blue Jays 24-16, 6 games back. The New York Yankees 23-19, 8 games back, and the Boston Red Sox 22-19, 8.5 games back. It may happen that all of the AL East teams end up with a record over 500, and that also is kind of insane to me. That's dumb.
Well, you got to look at too. The AL Central only has one team with a record over 500.
That's true. So Minnesota Twins 23-18, Cleveland Guardians 19-21, Detroit Tigers 18-21, Chicago White Sox 14-28, Kansas City Royals 12-30. So at what point do those 4 teams burn it to the ground? Or do you think they'll burn it to the ground?
I don't think Cleveland will. Cleveland is like super young, and I think they're like ascending, right? They still have a couple holes here, there, and everywhere, but we've talked about Class A, we've talked about Beebs, J Ram. They've got pieces there. They're 3 games back in Minnesota. I think they'll be around. Detroit, super young team, right? AJ Hinch has got them boys, playing above their heads a little bit. The White Sox, I think, is definitely a team to look to burn it to the ground, except for Luis Robert, who has the most team-friendly contract in the history of baseball right now per production.
Like if you would have told me that was a Braves contract, like I would have believed you. I would have believed you if that was a Braves contract. Tell the people what that contract is.
So for those who weren't following Back That Astros Up, where we dove into it a little bit because the Astros played the White Sox. Luis Robert did absolute work in the series against the Astros. He hit a homer in every game. So if you saw the production, I mean, he scored all the runs. Like he was involved in everything. And if I told you he was 25 and he just recently signed a contract extension, seeing the stud that the dude was, you would think it was for like $11 billion or something like that. In the offseason, the Chicago White Sox extended, or they signed Luis Robert to a 6-year, $50 million contract in which he makes $9.5 million a year.
That's dumb. That's so dumb. It's dumb. And that actually is dumb. Like that's I mean, I understand it though. I mean, like if you put a contract in front of me that was going to guarantee me like life-changing money and I was from a third world country and I still sent a ton of money back to that third world country, I could see it. Okay. In that in the Houston games where he played, oh, tonight's game is not up there. Let's see. In the first, he hit a home run in each of the games. He was 2 for 3 in the first game, 2 for 4 in the second game, and I think he was 2 for 4 today. 2, 3, 4,
Hard
6
contact.
RBIs.
Yeah,
I think it
doubles.
was 6 RBIs.
He had 3 homers and 2 doubles in the series that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah,
Like raking.
just dumb. All of the dumb. I mean, his OPS right now is a 134 with a slug of 537. Also, he draws walks. Like he has 9 walks, 26 RBI, 10 homers, a stolen base. Apparently he can't stay healthy though. But apparently he's healthy enough for the for the Astro series. When they burn it to the ground, Lou Bob's not going anywhere, and that makes me sad. That makes me sad. I mean, we can eat that contract.
There's a lot of teams that would line up to eat that contract and trade all their blue chippers to get it.
Which
Ooh, I got a tasty question for you.
okay.
If you know that you cannot sign Kyle Tucker, would you trade him for Lou Bob? If y'all couldn't see Suzy's face right now, there's a lot of pain in it.
It's so sad. I don't want to think about Kyle Tucker not being on the team. Like right now? Like right now? Right now? Or like at like when?
What
Like,
if they called you? What if they called you this year and said, "Hey, we'll do it straight up." And basically they did it with the idea that they could trade him or re-sign him or whatever. We'll do it straight up. 1 for 1.
I don't like Lou Bob's defense though.
He's not a Gold Glover, but you're getting the cheapest contract in the major leagues at all. I mean,
For the production. Can
yeah.
you teach defense? Can you teach what Kyle Tucker can do?
No.
I don't think you can, right?
Can't.
Like that's just kind of innate baseball IQ, the ability, player smartness. That's the scientific technical term for that. Yeah, no, yes, no.
Talk about it later.
No, I don't know. The
Just an interesting what if. I don't think it would ever happen.
Well, it's definitely not going to happen. It's like one for one trades don't ever happen. Especially between like minor leaguers, between major leaguers. But I don't the fangirl in me says absolutely not. The rational baseball fan in me that wants to kind of look at the numbers says maybe. It's a hard maybe. But I'd have to look at the numbers. And I'd have to look at how many games he's played because he's always hurt, always. And I don't know how much of that is like if that can be worked out. Do you just not stretch well enough, Lou Bob? Like because it's like soft.
We're only gonna make this trade if he will enroll into yoga classes and we firm up them core muscles.
So it's like soft tissue issues with him. So there's lots of it's an interesting question. It's an interesting question. Words also very hard. It's a hard maybe. It's a hard maybe. I mean, it would never happen, but it's a hard maybe.
No, I don't think that phone call even gets made. I don't think the Astros would even entertain it. Even if the White Sox called and said, "Hey, what about if we did this? We're thinking about blowing it up. We're looking for trade chips. We're looking for, whatever. What do you think?"
But do you think that we could get a pitcher from them? And if so, What pitcher? Which pitcher?
The dream is Cease.
The
Dylan
dream
Cease
is
is going to
Cease.
be. I think the Dodgers are going to make a run at him. I think the Yankees are going to make a run at him. The White Sox are in a bad way. You literally had a video today of Tim Anderson saying, "I hate this place. It's a toxic environment." They really would benefit from starting over, starting young, getting all the tradable assets and blowing it up like we're talking about. So Dylan Cease is the first name. You could talk about Kopech and Giolito too if you wanted. They're all reasonably young,
See,
sort
I
of.
don't. I think Dylan Cease would be one of, like, Dylan Cease and Lou Bob, I think, are their untouchables unless you just throw the farm at him for
Do you
Dylan
think
Cease.
Dylan Cease resigns there? I think he's an ARB guy, right?
So he's in his first year of arbitration. He's 27. And his salary this year is 5.7.
Like,
That is minuscule, right? That's minuscule. He does not become a free agent until 26. So he's in his first year of ARB, so you'd have to buy out his last 2 years of arbitration and sign him until he's 32 at least.
but if you're the White Sox and you're like, we're not going to be good for 3 more years, are you really going to want to hold on to him,
That's true.
knowing that the first time we could be good, assuming they blow it up,
Right.
he'll
don't know.
be due for a big payday.
I don't know the White Sox farm system, if they're even a good farm
Is
system.
such a thing? They
I
would
want
be
to say
if
the
they made
farm.
the trade.
I think the farm system is not good, though. I don't think the White Sox have a good farm system. That is something that I'm going to have to look at because I want to say that they're not a good farm system. But yeah, I think Dylan Cease is one of those untouchables. I think anybody else on that pitching staff is totally okay. Is touchable? That's not that's not that's what I wanted to say. Tradable? There we go. Tradable.
So this is an MLB.com
Farm
article
rankings.
from March 2022. Where do you think they are?
I think they're towards the bottom.
You're right. You'd be interested as what they have them.
Out of 30 teams, I think they're 27th.
Ooh, almost. Your Astros are 27. They are 26.
Yeah, and so the White Sox are 26th, and they haven't lost any draft picks. So, like, what the fuck are y'all doing? We've lost 2 years of draft picks, and we're 27th, and yet
you
our
develop
guys are still
like Drew Gilbert,
yeah,
Corey
Who-
Lee.
but nobody had. Well, now they have Drew Gilbert on the top 100 rankings, but like we keep churning out motherfuckers that like are amazing, that are ranked, like.
So their top prospect is a shortstop, Colson Montgomery, number 38 overall, and Oscar Colas, an outfielder, number 85.
Wasn't Oscar Colas up for a little bit? I want to say he was. And then I think they sent him back down. Or maybe he got hurt. I don't remember. But for some reason I want to say that he was up for a little bit.
For context, they have Hunter Brown in here as the top prospect for the Stros at number 43.
Okay.
Which he's definitely no longer a prospect.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Dylan Cease is their only one that's like, they'd be like, nope, move on. So I mean, Lance Lynn, Lucas Giolito, I think out of that rotation, like, I want to stay far, far away from Clevenger and Kopech. Like, no, thank you. I think maybe. Do you think we could fix Lucas Giolito? I mean, because at one point in time he was like did he win the Cy Young, or was he in the Cy Young running?
That I don't know. I can look that up.
I think he was in the Cy Young running. Like, there was 2018. I think he was like the worst pitcher in the league or something. And then the next season he came in and like turned everything around.
So he's 28. So he's still fairly young. Let's see here. In 19, he was an all-star with a 14-9 record.
Yeah, and he had
Pitched 176 innings. He had 2 shutouts that year.
he
He was
had
6th in Cy Young voting.
Okay. I'm like, I want to say that there was some sort of Cy Young talk about him.
Yeah.
So, but was I right in the one of the years he was real bad, and then the next year he came back and was like, basically put his dick on the table and was like, shove it. Yeah. 2018 he had a 6.13 ERA,
He was
and
10
then
and 13.
in 2019 it went to a 3.41, COVID year 3.48, 21 3.53, and now 2022 is 4.9.
But he's kind of that guy though.
The which guy? The mid threes or the mid four or the high fours?
I think he's a mid-3 guy.
Interesting.
But I mean, he's not gonna have a crazy record. He's gonna be probably 11-9.
Okay, so if you could put him in our rotation, in the Astros rotation, where would you put him?
5.
Like ranking rise?
I mean, he screams Urquidy to me.
Ooh, really?
Well, look at Urquidy last year.
Interesting.
I'll pull it up.
I think. Yeah, no, okay. I'd agree with you there, but I think he's better than Urquidy, but I don't think he's better than Luis Garcia.
Okay, so he was 11-9 last year. What do you remember what Urquidy's record was last year? Do you remember what his ERA was last year?
I want to say low fours.
Jose Urquidy went 13-8 with a 3.94 ERA. Same dude.
Yeah, we love scoring runs for Jose Urquidy though. We loved it. We did.
And if Gio got 5 runs of he'd have a similar record.
Okay, all right. You win. I don't think it was a competition, but you win.
No, not at all.
So okay, well, I mean, ideally, like we would need an innings eater, and that's what I see Lucas Giolito being.
Urquidy pitched 164 innings and had 134 Ks.
134 Ks. Okay, so let's see. Last season, Gio pitched 161 innings with 177 strikeouts.
A little bit better K. A little bit better K guy.
Allowed 24 home runs.
29 over here. So.
And let's see. And hit four batters.
Nice. But okay, so maybe a slight upgrade over Urquidy, but still no better than the 5th starter in my opinion.
Right. Okay. I mean that. Yeah. So yeah, so White Sox, Detroit, the Royals. You think the Royals are gonna blow it up?
I feel like they do it every year, but in different phases. Like, they gave up Benintendi, they gave up
Whit Merrifield.
Yeah, to bring some other guys up.
They got a really young club, but I mean, again, I don't start their trust pitching at all. I don't trust their starting pitching at all.
Trust their start pitching.
That's why, because I was like, wait, Suzy, you're an idiot. So Aroldis Chapman ain't gonna be long for the Royals world. They are going to trade that motherfucker real
Did
fucking
they
quick
fix
at the
him?
deadline.
Do you
They
think?
did. They did fix him. They did.
That's a lefty. He'd look good in an Astros.
Don't you say it. Don't you say it. Tom, don't you do it. No.
Look,
no.
If it's not Jose Altuve, nobody hits him.
Absolutely not, Tom.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. You keep Aroldis Chapman off my fucking team.
Okay, I will.
No. He did strike out a motherfucker at like 103 miles an hour.
I told you how I want off this roster, and I'm not changing my vote.
Yeah, I know, but we can't afford that. Well, I mean, we can't. That's not my fucking money. Of course Of course, Crane can fucking afford whoever the fuck he wants, but he's not going to. He's not going to afford Salvador Perez at his $20 million a year contract. Although that would fix our catching situation. But that would mean DFAing Maldonado.
Trade him to the Cardinals.
So he could be their pitcher whisperer. Hey now. So yeah, they've got a young club over there. I don't know what they're doing. I really don't know what they're doing. Salvy's a big motherfucker though. He don't skip leg day either. Golly. But I mean, I guess when you do 40 gajillion squats every day.
6'3", 255.
Damn. What type of football player is that? Like if he was a football player.
Probably a tight end.
Okay. Okay. And then, AL West, Texas Rangers, 25-15. Houston Astros, 21-19. Los Angeles Angels 21-20. Seattle Mariners at 500 at 2020. And then the Oakland Athletics at 9-33. For Oakland Athletics. Although they do have Brent Rooker, who is leading the major leagues in OPS plus. OPS.
He's on my fantasy team. I love him.
Yeah.
Fun fact. Something I was looking at when I was looking at differential.
Mm-hmm.
So the Tampa Bay Rays have the lowest in the AL, have the lowest runs against.
Okay.
Do you know who's second on that list?
Lowest score with runs against. I don't.
The Houston Astros at 147. Where the difference is, where the difference lies, which we talk about, but we don't really. So Tampa scored 260 runs. How many runs do you think the Astros have scored?
It's gonna make me cry because we're like 27th in slug and on base percentage. We're at the bottom of that list. It's gonna make me cry.
It's down there. To put it in context, the Kansas City Royals, who we just talked about, that is 12-30, has scored 2 more runs than your Houston Astros. The Chicago White Sox, the Chicago White Sox, they just took 2 of 3 from, have scored 4 more runs this season than the Houston Astros.
I hate it here.
The Oakland A's. No, it's only sort of bad. The Oakland A's have won 9 games. Do you know the difference between how many runs the Astros have scored and the Oakland A's have scored? 14 runs.
I fucking hate it here.
14 runs. Now Oakland's given up 316 runs, but they've only scored 14 less runs than the Houston Astros. They are at the bottom.
Why are we not scoring runs? What happened to us? What happened?
They're missing boppers. They're missing key contributors.
We are missing key contributors, but then the motherfuckers that we signed or not signed, but the motherfuckers we expect to contribute are not contributing.
You're
Alex
right.
Bregman, I'm looking at you. Jose Abreu, right. Also looking at you. Yordan Alvarez cannot do this alone, people. Okay? It's not like he can score 5 runs, okay? He cannot. All right? He can't.
I think the biggest thing that separates them from Texas is Texas has scored 254 runs. Only Tampa Bay Rays have scored more runs.
So what you're telling me is that if you score more runs than your opponent, you win the game? Is that logic? Okay.
Last time I checked, 100% of the time.
Okay. 40% of the time it happens every time? All right. So if you score less runs than your opponent, then you lose the game. That's what I'm to understand. Got it. I like that this is a math pod and that we have good reasoning.
I mean, I just feel like that. I just feel like that's something that kind of eye opening, like,
yeah,
they are doing a great job of holding teams down and just not getting any run support.
What was that Chandler Rome tweet? Did you see that Chandler Rome tweet? Also shout out Chandler Rome. I like the muzzleless Chandler Rome now that he works for the Athletic. I appreciate you, Chandler Rome. I don't think you'll ever see this, but if you do, just know that I appreciate that the muzzle has come off. Okay. The Astros are slashing 238, 308, and 364 after 39 games. Their 672 OPS is 28th out of 30 lineups. That's gross. That's a gross number, Tom. That doesn't make me happy in the least bit at all. No, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, it really speaks to it. We were worried about JP France. We were worried about Brandon Belak to an extent.
They held it down.
Not the
They held
problem.
it. No.
Everybody's worried about the bullpen and how many runs they give up.
Yeah.
Not the problem.
No. Our anemic offense.
Even Montero with the 87 runs he's given up, not the problem.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Dusty Baker, also a problem. But anemic offense. I will, and who contributes to that anemic offense? Dusty Baker. Looking at you, sir. Looking at you. Monocle. Why did I close this eye? Over here and do the monocle? That's what I did.
Because nobody ever looks for the monocle. It's just there for looks. You're not actually using that thing.
I mean, you don't know. Maybe I need a monocle. Who knows? I'm just saying. But yeah, so that's that. Cardinals, I don't know what you're doing. So I need Cardinals fans to come tell me in the comments. Mets fans, are you pushing the panic button? I need to know these things as well.
Cardinals have scored 190 runs.
Yeah, no, I don't find that amazing. Do you know why I don't find that amazing? Because I know that lineup and I have seen that lineup, and that is the thing that I knew that they were going to do. Also, don't tell me how many runs Boston Red Sox have scored either, because I don't.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, but they have to because
they give up a lot.
Their starting pitching and their bullpen is just trash as well. It's like when one side works, the other side doesn't. You need both of them. In that, what is that? Is it Lady Justice with the scales of justice? Is that what it is? Okay. It needs to be balanced. It's not balanced.
Colorado, we're dogging Colorado, one of the worst records in baseball. Scored 7 more runs than the Astros.
You really do want to make me drink right now. Is that what's happening, Tom? Is that?
I mean, this is technically Bourbon and Baseball After Dark.
It is bourbon, but you know what though? It's always after dark. There is no quote unquote appropriate behavior on this podcast. It's all after dark. It's all kinds of ridiculous. All the shenanigans happen. But yeah, so that's, I don't know, just what is happening. Hopefully the Astros pick it up. If you're not an Astros fan, I apologize, but I really do want to talk to Padres fans, Mets fans, Cardinals fans. Are you pushing the panic button? I need to know these things. So please come tell me in the comments.
The Padres have scored less runs than the Astros.
Oh, that's worrisome.
That's bad.
That's very worrisome.
There you go. Padres fans, they need to score more runs more than the Astros do.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Padres fans, come talk to me. I need to know. I need to know these things. So, with that, we will say goodnight. If you liked this type of content, you can head over to the Relevant app, RELEVNT. Like I said earlier, Shelby unfortunately is no longer my co-host. They are trying to find me a new co-host for over there, but we have in-game broadcasts. So basically, you get to sit and watch Astros games with me. Commenting, being ridiculous. Tom pinch hit for Shelby this week. Tom and Rob are actually a team over there. You'll get, is there something between PG-13 and R?
NC-17, baby.
No, NC-17 is above R.
Is it really?
Yes.
I never knew. I was today years old. I thought for some.
Yeah, NC-17 is above R. That's where you get the full frontal nudity and shit. Warning. Yeah, it's not NC-17, guys.
I think I've only heard of 2 movies ever to be NC-17, but
yeah, it's not. It's not. So, I would say that my stream would be R-rated. Definitely not NC-17, but definitely R-rated. Tom and Rob's stream would be somewhere in between PG-13 and R if there was a rating in between there. So they will be doing in-game broadcasts as well. I have next Friday and Saturday, so you can watch Astros games with me over there against the A's. When did you say that you have your broadcast?
We're going
Tom?
Wednesday. We got the Cubs.
Okay.
It's
Wednesday
it's
night.
it's a lot of fun. If you've never seen it, never been around it, you truly get a chance to interact with us, real time while we're watching the games. We're feeling what you're feeling. We have the ability to have, what is it, 9 people up there at one time, so everybody can
Mhm.
get up and physically voice your own opinions as opposed to texting it out. You know, we're playing drinking games. We're having a great time.
I'm playing drinking games, not on Rob and Tom's.
I
Less
played the
less.
drinking game with Suzy.
I know, but I'm saying on your stream, on Rob and Tom's stream, there's not drinking games.
That's
On
true.
Suzy's stream, there will be drinking games.
That's
Inappropriate adult humor, sexually innuendos. Duh. So go download that. Androids, hold off. It's not super Android friendly yet. If you're an iPhone, come on over. So download that. We're over there. You'll get lots more content. We appreciate all of our listeners over here. Rate, review, subscribe, all of that fun stuff. Give us 5 stars. Australia still loves us. United States, falling off. They don't love us. They don't love me. They love Rob and Tom though. Rob and Tom, tell the people where they can find you and Rob.
So you can find me on Twitter at Third Coast Tom. You can find me, my co-host Rob, Astros Baseball Podcasts, wherever you download your podcasts. Like Suzy said, we're a more family-friendly take. Occasionally it gets a little wild, but not nearly to the extent as of this one. But yeah, we're also on the Relevant app. We have a new show that we're just starting up over there called Astros and Aneurysms, because Rob doesn't like to lose and he can really, really become frustrated, where I tend to look at the glass half full all the time if I can. So come check us out over there, and appreciate y'all doing all the things.
Yes.
The rates, the coming to the show, the questions. We appreciate all of it.
Yes. So with that, we will say good night. I appreciate everyone again. Rate, review, subscribe, tell your friends, share this. Give me 5 stars. Tell me that you enjoy the content that I'm putting out. Tell me I'm pretty. Don't tell me I'm pretty. I don't actually give a fuck about that. Tell me I'm funny. I would really appreciate that, however. So with that, we will say good night. If you are interested in more Astros based content, like lots of Astros based content and like rants, the link in the description for the sister show Back That Astros Up is in the description down below. You can go check that out. Warning, if you love Dusty Baker, probably skip that because you will not be happy with me. And I just really don't feel like arguing with people about Dusty Baker, because Dusty Baker's not a horrible person, but a horrible manager. Okay. And with that, I like the eyebrow raise, Tom. That was good. That was good. With that, we will say good night and yay baseball.